Hello, good people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will wait a few minutes just to make sure we are live. When I see the first person pop up there, I know that we are live. But if you guys are hearing this on a replay, welcome to the Sim Standard Podcast with myself, SimFBallCritic, along with Smitty. Here to talk about a few things with you guys, man. Episode 245. It's funny, we've been doing this a long time now, man, especially if you include Blog Talk Radio. It's been a long time. But let me just wait here. Make sure it's live. I believe it is, but hold on. I don't see it. You see it on your side, Smitty?
Not yet. Hold on. Usually it shows in my subscriptions.
There it is. I see somebody said hi. So we must be live. For whatever reason, it's not showing when I refresh my YouTube browser, but I guess it's showing. So welcome to the lone person who said hi. Maybe more of you guys. There it is. I see it live now on my side. So yeah, man. Y'all know the routine. We're going to jump into this thing. We apologize for being late, man. Just, life happens. Schedules are all out of whack. So we try to jump on when we can. So hopefully we still can provide a decent show for the amount of time that we will be allotted, which will be by 10 o'clock. But outside of that, how's everybody doing, man? Me and Smitty can give our real quick introductions. Talk about our football teams. Mine is going to be very brief. But what's going on, Smitty? How's things? How was the week, and how you feeling about the Lions so far?
I mean, week's going pretty good. Can't complain about that. Family's well and everything, so I'm grateful for that. As far as the Lions, I mean, technically they should be 3-0. They should have beat the Cardinals, but it was a nail biter last week. Honestly, they should have blew them out. They should have blew out the Eagles, because those two fumbles that Aguilar had, you should have capitalized on those and got touchdowns. I don't know what kind of game planning they're doing over there, but it's like they play one half of good football and then they play another half of, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to hang in there kind of football. Like, I really am not. I really don't understand. But I will just say this, just to keep it quick. Chiefs, man, look. If they lose, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, but if they can make the game competitive, at least execute. But they have to slow the game down, because they cannot be in a shootout. They cannot shoot out with the Chiefs. I don't care if it's a home game. I don't care. That it is a home game. They can't be in no shootout with them boys and expect to hang. So I'm hoping for a good game, an entertaining game. If we win, or if it's a modest loss, like a close loss, I'll be happy with it. But
wait, y'all got the Chiefs?
Yeah, we've got the Chiefs Sunday.
Oh, goodness.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, even though it's a home game, but still, I mean, look, we beat New England last year, and that was, but I mean, New England still had some issues at that point in time, but still, that was New England. You know what I mean? And we were able to come up with the W, which everybody under the sun, myself included, felt that we weren't going to win that. So like I said, I'm not surprised if we lose, but if we can make it look legit, like we fought hard, like how the Ravens did. I mean, they came back. It was a comeback, okay? But the bottom line is, if they put in the work and they actually come through decently, they can make a modest mark going forward, at least to hopefully progress. I don't know if they will, but I don't know, man. We have to see. We have to see what these guys do, but yikes. Because the way these other games have been, it's been about last minute heroics and barely holding on. And Darius Slay must be there. He must be playing. I mean, our secondary came together and made some key plays. They made some good plays, but we need Darius Slay in a major way in the secondary. We have to have him. So we'll see what happens, man. I'll throw it to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Not a lot I can say about the Steelers, man. So everything I can say, I've said on the Terrible Towel Tuesday podcast. And listen, man, it might be one of those seasons. Just get ready for it. You know, you're a superstar, regardless of whether you like him or not. But if your perceived franchise quarterback goes down, your season is going to change. I don't care what anybody says. You know, and some of you guys are overzealous saying, oh, we're going to be fine with Rudolph. He's going to go out there and ball. Come on, man. First NFL start, it's going to take him time, you know, unless he's just a phenom. Not everybody is Patrick Mahomes. Not everybody is Ben Roethlisberger when he took over as a rookie. You can't expect that from everybody, but it is what it is, man. They're 0-3. I'm going to embrace watching the young guys, you know, get better. I'm going to embrace watching what Minkah Fitzpatrick means to the defense and all of that stuff. And who knows, maybe I'll look up and they've turned the season around, but I'm not expecting anything. I'm just keeping it real, Smitty. I'm not one of those fans that now, you know, people are, oh, we just going to go 13-3. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Cut it out. The team is not that good right now. You get 5 turnovers, 3 of which in the first quarter, and you only muster 6 points in the half. That's not going to win an NFL football game. So they got a lot of problems, man. They got a lot of problems, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm just going to embrace this season, take it for what it is. If they somehow get on a streak, great. But my expectations have gone out the window. But outside of that, guys, look at this guy. Matt Brown says Madden sucks. Look, man, we're going to talk about the biggest issues with Madden 20, in our opinion. I think I can speak for Smitty when I say this. All of that Madden sucks and whatever game sucks and all that, we're just past that, man. You know, that does nothing. If that's how you feel about a game, okay. But we're more about context. So what we do as, you know, I don't want to say it like this, like I'm undermining anybody, Smitty, but, you know, what Smitty and I do from an adult, mature perspective is we just break down video games, what we like about them, what we dislike about them, try to offer our feedback. You know, the days of just being overly ranty and all of that, that's over. It's pointless. So, that's just my quick thoughts on that. But yeah, you know, we'll get into that. We're going to talk about what we think are the biggest problems in the game. We'll also talk a little bit about the indie games. I know Maximum Football, I believe, is dropping tomorrow. Access as well, right? Are they both dropping tomorrow?
I don't know.
I thought I heard somewhere that Access, maybe I have the date wrong, but I think Access Football is dropping on PC and Xbox first, and then they're waiting for PS4. Last I heard. I think SGO put out a video today saying that. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit, guys. And that's probably about all we're going to really get to tonight, being that we got started a little later. We only have until 10 o'clock, so let me stop yapping and let's get to the action. So I'll throw it to you, Smitty, man. Madden 20. Let's talk about, and you know, I'll just throw it all at you and we'll roll it all into one. Let's talk about the biggest problems in our opinion right now, as well as how we're feeling about the Madden devs kind of going silent or pretty much going away from Twitter. How we feel about that, and is the community to blame for that, and should they be on Twitter? So all of that, as well as the biggest, you know, issues that we have right now that's hindering that game from progressing. So what you got, man?
Well, as far as the devs, because we're talking about the devs first, right?
Yeah, either or.
The devs. Okay,
yeah.
I'll touch on that one first. Like, as far as the devs are concerned, I mean, this is something that, you know, we have spoke on in the past. you, myself, and AZ, we touched about this on the show. We touched about this, we touched on this back on, on this show and everything, and videos and streams, things like that. Because the thing is, when we said, yo, man, these devs are on, Twitter and everything like that, cherish that. You know what I'm saying? Cherish the fact that they're even interacting like this. They don't need to. They don't have to interact. It's not their job to spend whatever amount of time online and sit there and listen to, problems people. DML Network, what's going on, man? Ain't seen them in a second. What's happening? But anyways, but I mean, it's not a necessity. I mean, people like taking the frustrations of the game and throw them at the devs. And the funny thing is that you have people that jump online, and I've seen it every single time. Whenever a dev is online and have something to say,
Smitty.
Yeah, I saw that.
Look at that last comment. I can't wait till we dive into that part.
I'm bypassing. I'm just bypassing it right now. But anyways, when you see, oh man, but dang, that made me slip my train of thought. I was ready to say something. But I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm leaving it alone for now. But no, with these devs being online and everything, like I said, when people feel that they're not getting a response, I said something to the devs and they're not saying nothing to me. F them and everything they about, blah, 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 right? All that riffraff. And it's like, as soon as they respond to you or to those particular people, now all of a sudden it's, you know what, I just want the game to be good, man. I just want the game to be better. Why don't you lead with that? Like, why is it that you want to straighten now you want to adjust your social media etiquette when they respond to you, but you want to talk all nasty and be buck wild and crazy, when they don't say anything to you. See, think about it. It's just like the dude that posts the clips of wild stuff happening in Madden, making a joke of it, right? If that stuff happened and he was in the studio, he wouldn't do any of that. He would be sitting there saying, "Hey man, yo, look at this issue that happened. This is pretty wild. This is a mean bug right here." He's not going to be up here saying, "Oh my gosh, look what happened." Like they're not. He ain't going to do all that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you're behind the keyboard or you're on your phone and there ain't nobody else around, there's no live interactivity. That's what's always going to go on. That's why when you look at Czar explained a whole lot in his live streams. He said a whole lot. Even on Twitter, he made many valid points. But what do people do? This is a very PC kind of culture. So when you make points that go against the grain of a consumer or go against the grain of what somebody else's thought process is, and that keeps happening, I can see them pulling the plug and stepping back and not getting online, and not talking with us. And it's like, it's sad, it's a shame, because the devs were a direct avenue. Like, that's a direct avenue of contact, and those guys are gone. You know what I mean? They stepped off the scene now. So now you don't have the Clint, to talk to anymore. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Clint was the one that put himself online. There are other devs, many other devs that could be, that could easily have their Twitter account online if they even have one, but they just don't interact. They're not a face of the product. So you're not going to hear them. You're not going to say anything to their direction. It's going to be address everything to Clint. When Rex was there, address everything to Rex. Let those guys know what the problems are. Why these guys spend all this time online? Like, they were a very valuable commodity, and it's like the problem now that they're gone. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? To me, it genuinely sucks, and it because it was like they gave a doorway to get some understanding of what the developers deal with, what kind of challenges that the team faces at times. Because I remember over the years, Clint asking some questions that they actually debate in the studios. Like they go back and forth about in the studios. And it's like when you bring it to the attention of some people, like, shout out to DJ81 and guys like that, because I remember having dialogue over certain things on Twitter, and you had people that were holding genuine conversation, legitimate debating over certain elements of the game, and Clint chimes in and he poses questions, and then it's like, oh, okay, I didn't necessarily look at it that way. And it's cool when you have the developers, like these are the people working on the game. We're consumers just dialoguing about stuff, and here he is saying like, well, okay, well, if we introduce X, how do we do this? You know what I mean? Do we do it in the direction of A, B, or C? And if you do choose B, well, how come it can't be A or C? And it's like, okay, all right, like that's that kind of connection that we once had, and now it's gone in the sense, at least from a visible being able to see somebody's standpoint. Now it's gone. You see what I'm saying? All gone. And I mean, it could be from the community's fault. I mean, I know the community does have some kind of responsibility to that.
Oh, yeah.
Without question. You know what I'm saying? It also could be, internal. They're just like, make them step back. If people have their issues or whatever, they'll put them out there. Check the, check the avenues. Look online. You know what I mean? Check the Operation Sports and the EA forums and stuff like that. And now on YouTube, whomever it is you look at, check the Game Changers and everything and stuff like that. That's the way it was before. Because remember, Sim, of course, knows when we came from the studio, we're up here trying to tell people, man, look, this is the way it is, blah, 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 whoopty whoop. They weren't on Twitter. The closest you came to hearing from those guys was E3. You know what I'm saying? An E3 interview or an interview with some other some other outlet during that E3 time frame. That's all you really heard. You didn't hear people, or you didn't hear anything until the game launched, and after that, that was it. You didn't see them no more. So now it's as if they went back to that platform. They went back to that way of doing it now. So it sucks. To me, it does, but I can also understand as to why it is, because you have people that make sensible points, but at the same time, you have a whole bunch of people that just throw a bunch of stuff at you and just say, well, this isn't fixed and that's not fixed. Like how people talk, I've seen in the chat, some people talking about the abilities and stuff, it being a problem.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
You see, and we definitely will touch on that. Let's see, that's all I'm saying. It's like, with them adding this stuff in, this is all like everything is done, and I'm not saying this to make this isn't, this is just reality. We tell y'all the reality of this. This is not the days of Madden past on PS2 and Xbox where the cost of development was cheaper, the work wasn't as difficult to achieve in that 8 to 9 month cycle, right? Now, everything has went up, except for the time frame that the devs have to make these games. And that's just it. Look at that. Now we can give 2K all the praise we want, but look at how horrendous their launches have been. Basically, dang near this whole gen. They've had horrendous issues starting with their game, and, especially this year. You like I said, I told Sim, I think offline or whatever, or on the show last week, they've had like over 50 some odd gigs worth of patches, title updates, trying to get things right, because from it like the game felt like it was a rushed title. And that's what I'm saying. That development cost, I mean, the time frame, that it doesn't change. It stays the exact same way. And no matter what they try to add, the technology could go up, the demand will go up, but the time frame stays in that small window. And that's the sad part, dude, because we got to see that grow. You know what I'm saying? But when people get online and say what they say, and they're directing it all towards these devs, and then they decide to walk off Twitter, it doesn't help us at the end of the day. It only hurts. That's why I'm saying, like, yo, attacking the devs doesn't get nothing done. Address them like if you saw them in front of you, you wouldn't talk to them with that, with that nasty tongue. So it's like, keep it respectful and cordial, and assemble respectfully, and bring the points to the table, and you'll be amazed at what kind of response you'll get. And I mean, yeah, you can have every community's gonna have loose cannons, but I'm saying, for the most part, it could have been done a lot better. And for that, yes, it's on the community. It also could be higher up decisions on the inside too that play a role in it. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but it's unfortunate, man. It's an unfortunate loss, because those guys were a nice little window of insight to let us know what's going on, and now we got to fall back to just posting stuff on forums and putting up videos, and maybe they'll hear us. Maybe they'll see what's being said by specific people. You see what I'm saying? So now it's gone now. You see what I'm saying? So, and people are going to feel that. They're going to feel it. So, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, man, pretty much what we lost, I'll say we, even though we didn't necessarily lose it, me and Smitty and I, because I could reach the dev anytime. But what we lost as a community is the transparency. That's what you lost. And it's funny, because I'm watching, I see some of the comments, Smitty, of why they left, just the general public, what they're saying. It's hilarious. They're running. Really? The same group of devs who would tell you exactly what's going on. Mainly Clint. And whether you like him or dislike him, or whether some people feel like that they've been lied to and all, man, I can't control any of that. I'm just saying, in general, a lot of the people that are complaining, all they did was bash him all the time. It was never positive, or not even positive. It was never constructive feedback. It was never that. And here's the funny thing. Here's a direct correlation that a lot of people might be able to understand. Who else do y'all know that's not on Twitter that much anymore? Don't really comment. Is there anybody else y'all can think of that's like that? Yeah, me. And you know why? Because I don't have time to argue what people's opinion of Madden. I don't have time to be tagged in every single It gets to a point where I've heard this you've said this 100 times. Why am I in this conversation again? And for those people, I don't pay no attention to it. I don't have the notifications on. I only see Twitter now when I decide to sit down at the computer and look at it. I don't even have it on my phone anymore, because it's pointless when all you're getting is negativity, the toxic behavior. Not negativity, toxic behavior. Who wants that? Like, sometimes you have to look at yourselves and ask yourself, would you feel the same way? If it was you. You would take constructive feedback, you would take criticism, all of that. But who sits there and just continues to, listen to F you, and you this, and you suck it. You suck this, and you suck EA's, Who wants to hear that? So can you blame the developers being like, man, this is a waste of time? You see what I'm saying? So you can't be mad at nobody but yourselves. That's the reason why they're off of Twitter. Like I said, it's the exact same reason why I don't engage on Twitter that much no more. It's the same conversation over and over and over and over. And I'm like, all right, man. I don't have to justify myself to anybody. I know what I'm about. I know what my character is and all that. I don't have to explain that to somebody in 200 and however many characters it is on Twitter. So I just choose to step back and disengage. It's the same thing the devs are doing.
And see the same, and also just to add on to that, Sim, it's the same thing. Think about it. It's the same reason, like the kid soft drink sports, why he had blocked me. You see what I'm saying? He didn't like what I had to say to him, and I didn't even diss him. That's the funny part. He just didn't like what I had to say, and he blocked me for it. But yet, what was he going on Twitter and doing every single day? Madden can't do this. Madden ain't doing this right. Atting devs, atting these people, atting those people, saying all these things. So it's like you dish it, but when it came to you taking any kind of criticism about anything or anything being said you didn't like, oh no, I gotta block people. See? So it's like, you think about it, people love to dish it, but then they can't take. Yeah, you gotta be able to take, man. You gotta be able to take, and that's the thing. The devs take all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they know what the problem is, and it gets to a point, like I said, it could be an internal decision, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if they did move away and say, man, forget it, I'm just gonna go offline and just focus on this, that, and the third.
And also, because I see some of the comments here, I hope a lot of you guys understand this, because I know some people sometimes are new to the channel, new to what we do. I can't just assume that y'all know or know the history. I would suggest doing that, though. But let's just say you don't know anything about who we are, what we do. Let's make sure we're clear. We're not condoning the devs not being on Twitter. I think being on Twitter and engaging the people, grassroots is how you get it done. Whether you're talking about anything, business, culture, or, just, civil rights, whatever it is. It's always a grassroots level of things that you must talk to, right? And let me make sure you guys understand that we're not saying not to complain. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, shoot, you've seen me complain to the devs on Twitter, and I don't even have to. That's not what we're saying. We're not talking about the people who complain about the game, things that happen in the game, or things that you feel like are not working as advertised. That's not what we're talking about, people. We're talking about the toxic people. And I hope all of you guys understand the difference. I don't want to waste you guys' time trying to explain what the difference is. We all are grown here. We should know the difference. We all know what toxic behavior is on Twitter. We're not talking about you posting, this is a bug, why is this happening, blase, blah, blase, blah. No. All of that should happen on Twitter. That's what it's for. To at the devs and say, hey, this is happening in the game. Why is this happening? Hey, this is not what I thought it would be. Why is it not? But we're talking about the toxic folks. Nobody sits and listens to that all day long. I promise y'all. I promise every one of you guys who are listening to this show, if there was a person that came to your Twitter and they're just being toxic and trolling you, what you going to do eventually? You're going to block them. I'm pretty sure. It's the same thing. Just because these guys are devs, and I know some people are going to say, Smitty, well, they're in that position. No, yeah, they are, but Twitter is not a requirement of that.
Right.
They're in the position of being game developers and being scrutinized at EA3 in public or whatever else forum they go to, a PAX or whatever. But they are not required to engage with the community on Twitter. That's not a requirement. We had that, and now you've lost it. So that's all we're saying, man. And what I also want to know, man, because I see it here in the comments. Again, when we do this show, me and Smitty are being as in the middle as possible. We're not swaying one way or another. We're not highly in favor. We're not highly against. But I'm asking this question sincerely. I see a couple of you guys said, you're paying full price for the game and you're being lied to. And I've asked people this question quite often, Smitty. I want to know, what were you guys lied about? Like, I really want to know, what is the thing that you feel you were lied about? Because I want to know if there's a clear-cut thing that we could all say, yeah, that was a lie, or is it interpretation? Like, I'm generally asking that question. So for you guys who posted that in the comment section, I want to hear that. I want to know, what do you feel that you were lied about in terms of the product?
Yeah. Not even the feeling. What were you lied about? Because this is, like, if there was a lie, completely say it. What was the lie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Who you talking to? Game Changer. He says, "Don't tell me what to do, dude." I don't know who he's referring to. Or maybe he's arguing with somebody in the comments. Maybe he's talking about us. I don't know. But I want to hear.
I don't know.
Like we want to have real dialogue. We're asking legitimately. Like, I want to know exactly what it is. And again, I continue to say this every year. Why are y'all still buying the game? I know what y'all gonna say. Well, it's the only. Listen, no. I'm sorry. I can't go along with that. Y'all know my story. I tell my truth, so nobody can ever use it against you. Y'all know my truth. I don't pay for the game. I'm giving the game. But if I was in a situation where I had to pay for this game, I promise you I would not be buying the game if I didn't like it. I told y'all last week, I still haven't bought 2K20 because I'm not going to pay full price for it. Not because I don't believe in the product. I have 2K19 and I'm hearing that there's not a lot of difference.
Oh, there's difference.
See, now I can trust Smitty, but a lot of people are saying, man, if you good with 19, play 19 and get 2K20 on a discount. All right, cool. I'm going to get the game. But this is just to show you guys that I don't have to. I'm not the person that has to buy. I don't have to have the game the first night. And I'm not saying other people are. I'm just proving my point to you guys that I can wait. So if I didn't feel like Madden was up to par, I would not be buying the game. It's that simple. I don't want to hear, it's the only football game. But that you can't have that type of logic, folks. And I don't know if we're talking to people who are younger, older, or whatever. I'm just trying to kick a little game. You cannot have that type of mentality with anything. You can't settle. There's Redbox. There's EA Access. There's all kinds of ways for you to not pay full price for Madden and still play it. I'm sure if what you guys are saying is true, I'm sure there are some return copies in your local GameStop or Best Buy or whatever. Don't pay full price for it. If you must have it, wait until it's used so they don't get credit for another sale. So in that way, you're kind of protesting the game. But yet, as long as me and Smitty have done this thing, we keep hearing people every year. It's the same people. Man, I keep buying this game. This game is trash. Why are you buying it? Stop using excuses, man. Stop using the excuses that it's the only game. And if you cool with it, let me be real with him again, Smitty, because I always got to keep it 100. I told y'all, I'm actually having fun with Madden 20 in our 32-man league. Having a good time for whatever reason. The game, we are actually having fun in our league. We haven't had too many problems. We're all like-minded. Heck, and Smitty knows that I'm off to the best start I have ever had since being in the Sim Standard League. I'm 7-1.
Oh wow.
Crazy, right, Smitty? Yeah. I'm having a good time in the 32-man league while still pointing out problems in the game. Because there are problems. But just keep it real. Like if you enjoy Madden and you still frustrated with it, great. You ain't gonna get nothing from me. You won't hear me blame you if you say, man, I like Madden. You know, I like Madden. It just burns me up. There's certain things that's wrong with it. Da, 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 da. Well, that's me. But just don't keep giving me the argument of how much you hate the game, and they're taking your money every year, and you're buying it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I'm gonna always look at you and say, why you keep buying it? Somebody got the game. Trust me. Your boys, your little cousin, your nephew. Somebody has the game where you can play it at a decent rate without having to pay for it. So don't give me that excuse, man. That's all I'm saying. But where were we, man? I kind of got off. Oh, wait. Game Changer said, people have false hope, then they get mad because nothing has changed. Yeah, man. It's, again, if you know the Madden cycle, me and Smitty have laid this out for you guys. Madden is not going to change overnight, unfortunately. It's just not. I will say that as much, and I've stuck my chest out, and I've said this before, even though, you know, who knows? It could compromise a relationship at some point, but it is what it is. I don't believe in Tiburon in terms of who manages and governs Madden. I don't. They haven't given me a reason to believe in progression rapidly. They haven't given me reason to believe that the developers will have the chains taken off. And they won't be so restricted. They'll have more creative freedom. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that Tiburon will do it at a rapid pace. That's why Smitty and I keep saying it's going to be a slow burn. And actually, you know, we'll transition right into the next topic. Considering, you know, talking about Madden. One of the biggest issues with Madden 20 and Madden period, because Smitty asked this offline, was keeping the game from progressing. EA Tiburon. Management. That's what I think it is, because, again, having conversations with said devs, right? There are things that I know that they would like to do. I have been told almost verbatim, and I can't go there, guys, so don't ask me to. But offline, I've been told about certain things that has to be, that got to be torn down, and we got to build that all the way from the ground up. It won't get better than that until we do this. Listen to what I'm saying, folks. There's things in the game that I have heard out of the horse's mouth that won't improve that much unless we are able to do this for that. And until we do that, that's about as good as you're going to get. Might make some tweaks here and there, but there's things that we need to tear all the way down and build back up. That ain't going to happen. At least, like I said, I don't believe it so, because I know how that operation works in that building. Maybe some miracle will happen and the rebuilding will take place on PS5. I don't know. I'm not going to get no hopes up, but that to me is one of the biggest things that's hindering the game, is the fact that, you know, those up at the top, they cool. We all right, we good. That ain't a necessity right now. We good. We'll do it at our pace. And that's literally, that's what's going on there. I can't say it no clearer than that. Brett knows that. You know, Brett here in the chat, Brett was an ex-dev, worked at EA back in the day. He knows that from a dev standpoint. You can only do what you're given the opportunity to do. And I just don't think that Tiburon gives a huge opportunity for their devs to, you know, spread their wings and fly. I don't believe in that. But kind of transitioning into that, Smitty, man, we all know the truth. And actually, it's funny here, Game Changer said Gamer Champ actually said what I was just about to say. He says, is it because they are still using Madden 06 engine? No. As I throw it to Smitty, here's the problem. Very, very quick timeline, and I think all of us should be able to follow this. And Smitty knows what a sucker I was in 05 when I saw that 06 trailer. I was the guy that was like, whoa! Let me give y'all the whole scenario really quick. I'm on GameTrailers.com. Y'all remember that? Waiting to see trailers, and I'm like, all right, I know Madden's going to come out in a few months. Let me see what's going on. I see that trailer, and I'm like, wow, what is this? had no idea what next gen was. It said it at the end of the trailer, Madden Next Gen. Again, I wasn't following game systems as close back then. I still didn't know what next gen was. I inquired a little more and found out, oh, Xbox 360 is coming out. This is the next gen Madden. At this time, think about this. I wasn't as involved as I am now. Way back then, I'm like, yo, oh, that's next gen. Boy, I'm reserving this 360. I can't wait. Because remember, not only did they show us that, Smitty, they also showed us NBA Live. Yeah. They also showed us a game that became my favorite game that year that I played more than anything else. Need for Speed. I was like, oh, I'm getting this 360. I can't wait to play this Madden. And I popped that Madden 06, and it was dun-dun, dun-dun. It was the fake me out. And that's when I started learning, wait a minute, what is this all about? Speaking with other people, like, they're like, yeah, man, usually, I'm speaking to tech savvy people, and they're telling me, well, yeah, what they kind of showed you was like division. Like, they're going to build up to that. But here's what happened. Remember when you heard people, even like Smitty? Smitty has said this 100 times. Madden 06, Madden 07, Madden 08 was the bomb on PS2. That's the old engine. They tried to rebuild the engine to move over to the 360, completely messed it up, and has not recovered since then. Meaning, they have not gone back to add those old features in depth and the way the players move. They haven't done that. And that's why we are where we are right now, because what once was in Madden never returned. And we're still sitting here looking for a decent franchise mode, which they had years ago. That is the real problem with what we're seeing right now. And that proves my point. The higher ups are on some, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We ain't got time to go back and do all of that. We'll do it at our pace. And that's what we are today. I mean, it's very clear to see. If you go back and look at those times, Madden 08, that was the last one, I believe, right, Smitty, on the PS2?
Yeah.
Hasn't been the same since then because they ruined the modern day engine trying to reinvent the wheel. Meanwhile, 2K ported over all of their systems. And look at what we got.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's pretty much it, man. I know we got sidetracked a little bit, but outside of that, Smitty, man, I mean, we've said it 100 times here, but what are the biggest issues with Madden 20 as far as what's keeping them from, progressing or hindering their progress?
Well, and see, and understand this, the perspective that we're talking about here is, or that we're getting at is, in regards of not, the franchise mode doesn't have all this stuff in it and stuff like that. Not the suggestion standpoint, but as far as when the game came out, where it's lacking at. The problem with the run game, because I know people are saying, hey, just run, don't pass, and all that stuff. The big problem is, and see, this was something that was in Madden's before. You don't see running backs stumble over their own blockers. They don't trip over their own men. You see what I'm saying? Where they had it was in the game before, and now it's not there. And I got to give props to my man Shotmaster on that, because this is stuff that he had called out, and I see it as well. But it's that, as well as, and I mean, this has been a problem in Madden for the longest time. The defensive pursuit angles, like, they're better, but they're not great. Okay, so it is better than what it once was, but it's not great yet. It's not great by any means. So those are two big problems. And like I said, the issue that I have is, like, I know they did a title update and they worked on the responsiveness of the secondary a bit more, but this was like what I had said last week. It needs to be better. So even if you can't necessarily get players moving around the field more in zone play, make the responsiveness give that feeling of, okay, well, at least they're being a lot more, you know what I mean? Like there's more movement when a pass is being thrown. You know what I mean? Or when a player is running through a zone. Like, excuse me, if their reaction time, not just when the ball is thrown, but also to when a receiver is in a threatening vicinity of the player. You see what I'm saying? Like that, need that. You know what I mean? Like if you can at least do that, that would be helpful. You see what I'm saying? So, and I mean, we know that they're working. Yep, thank you for that, Kevin. We know that they're working on, like there's going to be future updates with that. But I'm just saying, like, just voicing it out as far as where the game is at right now. Like, I know they touched it a little bit, but they could refine those things. That to me would be better. And lastly, being able to start franchises and keep your franchise going without having to restart anything because they add a new ability and stuff like that. Like that right there, see, that's a horrendous thing to launch your game with. You see what I'm saying? And once again, this is a point, making the same point with 2K20. It launched with issues that are like, are you serious? Like, who's over there in QA? You know what I mean? Like, the typical consumer response, like, where's QA at? Like, did y'all not check with QA? Did you not have them check any of this? Y'all just shipped it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of stuff you would typically get as a response. I mean, or excuse me, as a consumer response to problematic things happening in that game. So the same thing is happening with Madden. It's like, how y'all let the game come out and you're telling me that I would have to restart my franchise every single time? Like, who's honestly going to want to do something like that?
Epic fail, man.
Yeah, like, you see what I'm saying? So that is a big time issue. Like I said, like I start a franchise, but it makes me feel reluctant to keep it going because when I know they're looking into the issue. They've said that in the Gridiron notes and everything. So that's been said. And I appreciate that. But I wish this was something that, see, when we look at blog articles and everything else, and we hear from Mike Young and say, "Oh man, the way that we did development and the way that we progressed it this year, we were able to do so much more and everything." Like, it all sounds good, right? And that's cool. But when you have an issue like this, and it's like, well, the ball, it makes you feel like the ball definitely was dropped somewhere in that development process. You see, when you have something like this going on, you know what I mean? And I mean, hopefully they could work it out sooner than later. But for your most played mode, your most played mode in your game, you can't. It's cool to have these abilities and all that stuff, but you gotta make sure that sucker is able to cross straight over. People can start up their franchises, especially the online franchises, and play it up the way that it needs to be. I mean, I know at the end of the day, we all have different teams. Okay, like we all have different franchises. Abilities are gonna progress and regress and shift, change, all that. We know that, but still. People want to be able to play the game and know that this player is going to play like this player should be, in addition to their skill attributes and their, the abilities. Everything is lined up accordingly and be able to just play it straight up. Without having to worry about their file about having to start over. Like, you can't keep having people start over like that, man, because people are going to get burnt out on that. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, man, like, let's say they do an update, and let's say they do some really good stuff with the franchise mode, but they say, but this only works for a brand new franchise. It doesn't work for an existing one. Then now you're going to have online franchises that are going to be like, man, I would love to have that in there, but we've already played 2 seasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or we played 2.5, 3 seasons already. And you telling us to start over from scratch because of this? Like, I'm sorry, man. Can't do it. Can't do it. And that's what I'm saying. That's the sad part. So I hope that that's not the case where it ends up being that way, but hopefully they get this stuff resolved sooner than later, man. Much sooner than later. So, but that's my take on it, man.
Yeah, it's just sad, man. You know, I mean, the biggest problems I think in Madden 20 is there's still too many things that are independent of each other in terms of gameplay. We talk about it all the time, guys, and I promise I try not to be a broken record, but just to say it really, really quick, they have to introduce more and more independent AI individually. They have to introduce more independent interactions when it's player to player, and they have to find a way for physical mass, leverage, and all of these type of things to matter at all times. It's that simple. And some of you are probably saying, no, it ain't that simple. Yeah, it is. Think about all those things I just named. If those things were up to par in this game, we're not even having this conversation. We would be talking about how phenomenal the game is. Because that's really what it comes down to at this point. Is the AI performing on a level of, some 2019 artificial intelligence. And players being able to diagnose things, like Smitty said, not just being static. Not just being drawn into where they're supposed to be in zone. And even with the match coverage, right? The match coverage is still not how it should be. It's still not how it should be because all the checks aren't there. As well as, guys are still programmed, if A does this, you do that. If B does this, you do that. Which, yeah, some of you guys are going to say, well, yeah, that's how match concepts work. You're right. It's you're reading. A lot of times you're reading 2-to-1 or what have you, or 1-to-2, but I still want to see a game where the players on the field are making organic decisions on the fly. And I get it. I know what they're going to say, Smitty, and I know we get this question all the time. How do you replicate that in a video game? It's very hard to do because some people, they're not going to accept that either way. Most people are going to say, oh, why did my guy do that? And then if we came in and say, no, well, he made the wrong decision, then people still ain't going to be happy with that. But I want to see times where I can tell that the AI is playing out. Case in point, we all have seen a situation where your deep safeties, if you're in cover 2 man or whatever, or even cover 2, your deep safeties, they're just designed to drift. There's no AI happening there. The only thing that's happening there is one guy might react faster based on reaction time, and they're looking at when the quarterback's arm goes back. And to me, that's not truly an organic way to replicate how people play the zone or how players react. Players in the real world are watching the quarterback, yes, but they also are looking at threats. And these things often cause good plays or bad plays. For you guys who may have seen the Steelers game, unfortunately, last week that we lost. Do you see the long touchdown to Deante Johnson? You know why that worked? Because Jason Verrett was playing an inside technique. He was basically playing a trail. And he got caught looking at Mason Rudolph. 1/2 second too long, and Deante Johnson was able to blow right past him. That's an organic mistake. Right? This is what I'm talking about. These type of things don't happen in Madden. And this is what I'm saying. And I know I went off the rail a little bit there, so let me just bring it back home. They got to find a way, man, for us to believe the AI that we're seeing on the field. And you guys know what I'm talking about. We've seen these type of things in other games that is more believable. Fix that. Player interaction. Make it more 1-to-1. Get rid of as many 2-man animations as possible. Because when the 2-man animation kicks in, when the ball is in the air, everyone else is pretty much null and void. Got to get rid of that. And you got to make the trench battles more dynamic. 1-to-1. Trench battles. Defensive players have to be trying to track the ball and or quarterback. How many times have you seen where your defensive lineman is just worrying about the guy blocking him, quarterback standing right beside him? That type of stuff, it makes it seem like head tracking and awareness, it makes no sense. Like, it has no point. Gotta get these things to play out like that. Once you build a system that's capable of at least doing that, then you're going to start seeing where ratings really matter. Because right now, it's really just a, how much of a percent are we going to allow this guy to win or lose? That's pretty much what you're seeing. Now, I will say this. They've done a decent job, Smitty, with making these superstars play like themselves. And I want to make one comment on that, and then we can dive into the indie football stuff. Honestly, and I even seen it tonight in the chat, some of you guys are for X Factors, some of you guys are not. But let's ask an honest question. For many years, we've been saying we want to see these guys replicate their real life selves. I want to see skills. I want to see more of a all-pro football 2K8 type of rating system. Or if you're going to borrow from your own system, I want to see more of a Madden 08 weapons, type of system. Something like that where these guys have special skills. We've been talking about that, right? So now, they introduce these X Factors, which in my opinion, they match up pretty daggone very, very close to what the real player does in terms of if you look at the ability and you think about what that player does in the real world, I think they did a great job matching it up. But there's always going to be a debate. And what we see a lot, Smitty, is people are debating how effective they are. Some people are saying they're too overpowered. Some people are saying they're underpowered. So that's all, to me, personal preference. I haven't felt like anything has been overpowered yet except for Enforcer. That, to me, is the way they implemented Enforcer is trash. I'm sorry. And if y'all are listening, yes, that is trash. Why are these guys laying hit sticks every time? Every single attempt is a hit stick. And 50 or 60% of the hits are fumbles. That is not realistic. That's probably the only one right now that I can look at and say, yeah, I don't know about that one. Bobby Wagner doesn't go for a big hit every time. Luke Kuechly doesn't go for a big hit every time. Landon Collins is not landing big hits every time. Like, what is that? I understand it, but I'm like, come on. And even if you're going to do that, I need to see more risk and reward. Even as a CPU player, he should be able to miss sometimes. It shouldn't be perfectly timed. He shouldn't warp into me. And it shouldn't cause a fumble the majority of the time. Because how many times have we seen big hits in the NFL and guys don't fumble? And you guys know I've always had a problem. Smitty knows this. I've always had a problem with fumbles and hit sticks. For years now, I'm like, why does this equal fumble? I hate that. That is a video game element for sure. But like Smitty says, there's ways to combat it. If we're going to play video games, there is a way to cover the ball up and all that. I fully agree. I'm just talking about the premise of the fact that the hit sticks cause fumbles. I hate that. It should still be perfect situation. Catch a guy and he doesn't know that the hit is coming or the ball is exposed. It should be a lot more factors and physics determining that ball coming out more so than, land a hit stick. It's 6 out of 10. Let this one come out. But those things right there, man, those to me are the biggest issues. Those are the biggest hurdles that they have to overcome. Until they do it, we're pretty much going to be, talking about the same thing. But I don't know what other way you replicate these players. I mean, if you really think about it, these X Factors are no different than pretty much what you're seeing in NBA 2K. They're badges. That's all they are. Now, how EA chooses to activate them and things like that could always be argued. But again, people argue that in 2K. I really seriously don't know what other way can you assign player abilities to players and make them play like themselves other than creating some type of bad system or some type of X factor, or, you know, how do you replicate Drew Brees being able to play better in the dome, or, you know, Russell Wilson being able to identify blitzes, which he does. Like I said, all of the X factors that I've seen for the most part match that player to a T. How soon you can get in your zone and stuff like that, okay, that's debatable, but I'm sorry, I don't disagree with the fact that them trying to introduce those things. So that's just my 2 cents, Smitty. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, or if you want to move on to, you know, how we feel about I was about to say Max's. Maxim Football and Access Football, both the indie products.
Yeah, no, I would say, like, I agree with you with what you're saying. And the thing is, those abilities all need to be in the game.
Yeah.
They have to be there. So, you know, people can, you know, you can say what you want, but it needs to be in the it needs to be in the game. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. Like, it needs to be in the game, dude. It needs to be in the game. You need to differentiate players beyond ratings, and they're finally doing something to truly do that. And if you have a problem with it, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? But they're necessary. And I mean, I know, yeah, some of the abilities may need some work, or definitely need some work, like what Sim said, the Enforcer definitely does need some work. But no, other than that, leave it alone. Let people get used to it and have to deal with it. But that goes back to the point that we always make about FIFA and PES and NHL. You see what I'm saying? You have to make the gameplay feel authentic. Yes, those players are great and they're phenomenal players, but you still need to make the gameplay, you have to make the gameplay feel more genuinely authentic with the detail. So that way, average, good, great players, positioning, angles, all of that stuff needs to be replicated respectfully. It has to. And the problem is that the way Madden plays, still at this point, it still plays a static game of football. When it comes to players making contact with each other and things like that, it's not truly organic.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing. You have to make the gameplay organic. That's why FIFA, you could be the most casual soccer player in the world, or gamer or whatever, and you can appreciate FIFA for all those intricate details that are going on in the game. We don't have it going on like that in Madden. Ball physics, all that stuff, ball physics, player physics, etc. It's not playing like that right now. We need that. So that's the kind of stuff that we need to have happening in Madden. So,
and that's all it takes. I mean, yeah. We both have said that. That's really, again, I know a lot of people, and let me just say this again, man, because it's always going to be somebody in the chat that's going to say this, or somebody that hears it, blah, blah, blah. Yes, guys, there are people who will point out every single flaw in this game and break it down to the very last compound. Old hip-hop line right there for you old heads. But it's really not as difficult as most people think. Those little aspects, if those things were playing out in Madden, we would have a totally different game. More organic outcomes, interactions, AI behaviors. That is a whole new game. It's not like they have to reinvent the wheel. They could keep everything that they have in place right now and completely redo the way their players interact. Completely do the AI as far as how they react. and completely redo the physics across the board to where it's always a factor. If two people are going up for a pass, physics plays a factor. If two people are going after a ball, after a fumble, physics plays a factor. If the trenches are happening, trench battles, wins and losses, physics and leverage and momentum, all weight, all of this playing a factor. You have a brand new game. Completely different game. And to me, that's the problem with Madden. It's like Smitty said, the static gameplay. It's not so much that what Madden lacks. Of course, there's things that it still lacks that we would still want to see. I'm just talking about in Madden 20. It's because of those things that I just outlined that are not up to par. It makes it tougher to have a great time with the game. You know, you can, like I said, you can still enjoy it with like minds and like-minded players, but it just doesn't have, I don't know, man, animations. You know, even when they introduced the physics engine that Madden has, you know, back in Madden 13. My idea was I wanted it to be more like Backbreaker, right? And even if you couldn't make it fully the way Backbreaker was, my idea was that the physics would always augment the animation. Meaning, every single sports games that you play, for those that don't believe this is the fact. Every game that you play has canned animation. You have to have animations in order for them to play out and trigger, right? However, the best games allow the physics to dictate the animation that shows up. So in theory, just to make this very, very simple, let's say I want to replicate me holding my arm up in the air and dropping it back down to my side. So what I would do is I would create an animation for it being up in the air. Then when it gets a little further down, then when it gets a little further down, then when it gets parallel to my chest and shoulder level, then when it gets a little further down, and I'm animating all of that. I'm animating the fingers, everything from head all the way down to my side. So when I input this into my program, whenever a physical interaction happens during any of those points, it will play out the animation that matches the physical interaction. That's how it needs to be done. Excuse me. That's how the physics engine needs to be done. And you've seen this play out in other games. They have to get it to that point. Now don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people, try to chump the physics that are in Madden. I see people saying that there are no physics in Madden, which is not true. You start to see more of this finally in tackling. You see more the most physical interaction that you will see in a Madden product right now is tackles. There are times when the tackles are physics-based. And guys, fall and contort the way they're supposed to. It might look a little funny sometimes because that's just how physics does. But you guys know what I'm saying. But you don't see that type of interaction. You don't see the physical interaction in the trenches. You see more of the canned situation. Same thing with the two-man, interactions when it's pass coverage. Same situation. But in tackling, if they were able to apply whatever's happening for the most part doing tackling to the rest of the game, you got something. You got something to build on, but they just don't. They don't have that. So, like I said, man, you change those things, you dramatically change the game for the best. And since we only got about 13 minutes left, man, we're going to roll on to the next topic, man, so we can get it in here. I'll kick it off really, really quick, Smitty, and then I'll let you take it away.
All right.
I don't want to take time away from really diving into these topics, so I'll be brief here, and I'm sure we'll cover it again in another show. But how I feel really quick about Maximum Football as well as Access Football. Shout outs to Access, man. The in-depth, that's a whole nother conversation. How the depth that they have in their franchise that Madden doesn't have at this moment is just embarrassing. But let's be honest. Again, these games are options. In no way, shape, or form do I think these games are better than Madden. I know it's laughable for us to even have this conversation, but you have to, Smitty, because so many people are telling me that these games are going to be better. What is your definition of better? Neither one of these games will fulfill my football need between the lines more than what Madden is capable of doing right now, and I'm not happy all the way with Madden. There's no way that these games are going to do that. And I understand that. They understand that. But I do enjoy the fact that these games are giving it a try. And like I said, Access Football, wow, one of the biggest things that I saw from that trailer, not only do they have a coaching staff, Smitty, but they have positional coaches. Even all the way down to special teams. They have a linebackers coach, a DB coach, a receiver coach, a running back coach. Not just, head man and coordinators. Oh, no. They got positional coaches. This is what I'm talking about, man. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. And like I said, we're gonna definitely dive fully into this on another show. This is the stuff that irks me. And I purposely, Smitty, didn't say anything about it, where. I didn't say nothing in there because I know what kind of conversation it was going to cause. But I will say this because some of those guys are probably listening to us. I don't want to hear nothing else about, Madden has to build. No. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, the quality of the game is not up to par with the full quality of Madden. Okay, I understand that. But still, why do two games, matter of fact, because they're both going to be in the same boat. Why do two indie games feel it to be so important to address franchise before anything else? Knowing that their gameplay is not up to par. Shouldn't that tell you something? That franchise is the backbone? Shouldn't my league tell you that? My GM? Even my career, which is it's a spawn off of franchise. So I don't want to hear it from anybody at EA or EA affiliates like us who argue this point. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear y'all ever tell me that again. That it's a step-by-step. No, forget that. Franchise mode needs significant improvement. Point blank, period. But that's all I'm going to say about the indie games, man. I think it's great that they're in the market. I plan to support, but I'm going to be honest. Just looking at the gameplay, I have to be 100% honest, Smitty and chat, and whoever else will hear this. Those games are not going to fulfill my gameplay need, man. They're not. I'm just one of those people. I'm one of those people that I would rather not play something than to try to act like a lesser product is going to fulfill the need, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's the same thing I used to say to girls back in the day that, quick story, very, very quick story. I used to meet girls sometimes, and some chicks was thorough, some weren't. And what I mean by that, I would sometimes meet the girl that she wanted a Gucci bag so bad, she would get the fake one and this and that. And listen, everybody's probably done that sometime in their life. But I used to always say, but look, why don't you just get a fly bag that you can afford? Like, why does it have to? And my point was, if you can't get it, just don't bother with that. Wait until you're able to get the real thing. Just get you something super fly. You can look fly, sexy, and all of that without having that on. So you don't need to fake the funk. And that's how I feel about these indie games. If I felt like the game that's of this era is not meeting my needs, there's no way those games are going to do it. Stop kidding yourself. And some of y'all might be cool with it. Don't get me wrong. Like, shout outs to guys like VF who enjoys even older games. But stop acting as if the gameplay is going to overwhelm you more than Madden. It is not. Have you guys seen these trailers? Come on, man. Come on. No. They're nowhere near up to par. But I'm going to support them because I want them to stick around. Right. Maybe in a few years from now, hey, who knows? But that's all I got on that, man.
Now, I'll just say this: these games right now, like, and this is something I'll think about, and I did kind of talk about it when I did my Periscope before too. Look, I said this back with when Axis first came out and all that, and even when Maximum first came out, we're like, look, all you got to do is stay the course, keep going, keep expanding on it. You know what I'm saying? Like the more you expand, the more you do that, the game can get in that ballpark of legitimacy where we're like, yo, this is a viable option in comparison to Madden. Now, gameplay wise, even though with what's done in Maximum Football, from the eye test alone, it's not enough. Okay, it's not enough. And I said,
"Hey, Smitty, real quick,
just
because I want somebody to answer this, and I know you know, because like I told y'all, Smitty is the historian. Which previous Maddens had positional coaches? I know one of them did. Was it like 07 or something like that? One of them had positional coaches.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, but
I have to look into that.
Hopefully that answers your question, Drills. That Madden once had this stuff. They did. But go ahead, Smitty.
No, what was I gonna say? Dang, it slipped my mind. Oh my goodness.
Stay the course with Maximum.
Staying the course. My thing is, if it gets to a point where the gameplay is like PS2 Madden level caliber, or even 2K Madden, 2K football on Gen 2 level, but you give us all that depth, that's a viable product to me from an indie level. You don't have the AAA backing, but hey, what you have is legit, and the gameplay is legit. AI and everything is on point. Yeah, we're good. Cause the thing is, in the trailer that they showcased, yesterday they had shown, you literally had your safety. The wide receiver ran a streak, and the safety literally just stood there and let the receiver, and he was facing the receiver, and he just let the receiver run right past him. And it was supposed to be a highlight play of the receiver making the catch and running in for 6. But I was like, the safety literally just stood there and waited. He just watched him run right past him. He wasn't distracted. It wasn't a play action or nothing. The receiver ran right toward him and ran right past him. And he threw the ball over top. And they were chasing him down the field for 6. Now, we go buck wild when it happens in Madden. So just remember that. You got to keep the same intensity up when it happens in this game. Because like I always say, if you're going to prefer games that have similar issues or have lesser going on in it when it comes to the game on the field, you can't give it no pass because, but it has this. No. The same intense energy that you give to Madden, give the same intense energy to those games too. Because remember, the same thing happened with Backbreaker. We was all like, yo, Backbreaker got this, that, and the third. What did people do? That game got attacked with the same energy. Same energy, just like Madden would. So it's like, if you gonna come out with a game in this space, it has to hit. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to hit with fundamental football, and that's it. Even if you don't have the player movement, the animation fidelity, quality, etc., it still has to hit. And if it's not a hit there, then it's like, yo, you should have been like Axis and just put more energy into off the field stuff. Franchise mode depth and things like that, and then work on, building out the brand later. You know what I'm saying? Not off top like that. So that's that's how I feel. But I don't know. That's just the way I feel about those games. And I mean, Axis, I still look at Axis as a game that you play more on the side in terms of, if you're just about franchise management, go ahead and do that.
Right.
Now, if you're about gameplay, then no, Axis ain't going to be your cup of tea. And I feel to an extent that's what Maximum is going to be as well. It's going to have its bright moments, but at the same time, it's also going to have a decent amount of head scratchers too. And also understand, people are going buck wild for just the fact that there's a football game out there. Oh man, college football's coming back, y'all. It's about to be. No. This is not NCAA caliber football game here, okay? And I know IMV football, I ain't even going to get started on them. So this is the closest you have to a collegiate experience. Wait for another. I would say, I'm not going to say wait, but I will say let this game progress another at least 2 years on the field. And also, let's see how intelligent things are with the off the field function with the franchise mode. If it's pretty good, sweet. Now just get the on the field game properly rolling, and before you know it, they'll have a legit game on both sides, on the field and off. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna check the game out myself. I'm gonna check it out too. And yes, Sim, you're right. Axis Football does come out on PC and Xbox tomorrow as well with Maximum Football. They got to recertify for PlayStation. So,
which one of them? I'm asking because I haven't seen both. Somebody said Maximum has 7 minutes of footage out there. Which game, real quick, do you think looks better to the eye at the moment? And I know that's not a fair comparison, but I'm just curious.
I think Maximum because they have more. Yeah, the tackling. They have the real time physics with the tackling in there. Their animations look like they have a little bit more meat on the bone, so to speak, in comparison to where Axis was at. So, but franchise mode wise, I still have to look more into what Maximum has. So I can't say who would win there, but on the field, if I were to say right now, on the field, Maximum. Off the field, Axis.
Yeah, man. And it's a lot I want to get in with that, and maybe
next week we could dive into that.
Yeah, I actually was going to mention that next week, guys. It's a chance that I might not be able to do the show, because some of you guys may have heard of it. If you live in the Pennsylvania area, we're taking my son, man, to Kalahari. It's near the Poconos. It's basically, a little indoor water park.
Yeah.
Because his birthday was Tuesday, and we figured, we'll do something for him before the end of the summer. And we're going to do that Thursday. I think we're going Thursday to Friday to Saturday. So it's possible that I might be able to sneak away. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. If so, we're taking my little nephew too. So it might be a time around that 8 o'clock time that I can sneak off. If so, we'll do it. I'll take my laptop. If not, then we'll definitely come back the following week. And I want to definitely talk about that. Like, how are these games functioning? And again, don't approach these games the same way. Well, wait. I fully agree with what Smitty said. But what I'm about to say, listen to what I'm exactly saying. Don't listen to the surface. What I'm basically saying is, don't overly shut the game down because it's not up to par. But do what Smitty said. Judge it on the context of football. Now, how it looks and all that, listen, I promise you, it's not going to look that good. The player movement is not going to look that good. Animations are not going to look that good. And I don't expect them to. But don't give that feedback. Like, oh, the game looks so trash. Of course it does. These are indie games.
Yeah.
But like Smitty said, I don't care if it was stickmen. I don't care if it was 10-yard fight out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem in 2019, even if your game looked like 10-yard fight, that your safety is just standing there. Because that means the core still ain't there. Same way I had a problem with that being the case in Madden. I'm looking for the game that can build off of a platform that has great AI, which Backbreaker did. How funny is that? And that's why we were so in so deep with that game, because of the physics potential. Well, the physics was there. And because of that, what do they call it? Player form or whatever that AI.
Yeah, the player form.
Oh, man.
Yep.
I'm talking DBs realizing they've gotten beat a few times during the game, and now they're cheating up. And that level, they had something special.
Yep.
Because their physics were on the fly as well as their AI and decision making. And it just didn't look right. It didn't appeal to the masses because it looked like, a bunch of cyborgs out there playing football. But those are the things we're going to be looking for. Like I said, and to be honest, man, I might just, I don't know, but I'm scared. I want to support them. I just don't know how much I'm going to play the game, so I have to decide whether I'm going to just give a donation to them for the cost of their game to support, or if I do that, I might as well just buy it, right? So we'll see, but I definitely am interested in seeing what they offer on those terms. But other than that, guys, I got to get out of here. Y'all know the Thursday night is a struggle for me because of the next morning. Anything else you guys, Smitty, before we sign off?
Nah, just, tune in. Well, next week, hopefully we're able to get down, but, support these indie games, man. I mean, if the quality is up to par for you, that it's enjoyable,
yeah,
by all means, support it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's worth it to you, give it a go. Give it some burn. But otherwise, no, man, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys next week. And yeah, this is always fun, always a great time.
And you know what I was thinking too, Smitty? I might have some fun with them games. I might end up doing one like how kind of a head coach 09 type of deal, where maybe I'm not really playing it, so to speak, and just have fun like trying to manage the team. And I don't know, we'll see, because I definitely want some of you guys to see it too, because I know not everybody's going to support. So I'm going to try to find a creative way where it is not boring to me. Because I'm sorry, looking at that gameplay is going to tire out very soon.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you got an NBA 2K out there, when I got FIFA 20 sitting here,
exactly,
and even Madden, it just, come on, man. I can't go down that far in quality in terms of a moving parts video game. But all right, let me go. I have to get out of here, Smitty. I'm gonna probably call you on my phone in a minute, because I can talk to you, because we didn't talk last week. What we got to talk about.
Yeah.
But so that way I can still be doing some stuff while I'm getting ready for work. But yeah, I'll probably hit you up in a few minutes. But outside of that, guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend. This looks like a good football game. I'm hoping I'm not going to get suckered into watching it and be up too late. But 21-20 halftime. This is looking like a real good one. But anyway, good luck to your football teams. Hope everybody gets a victory, unless you are a Bengals fan. Other than that, have a great weekend. Be safe. God bless, and good night. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.